Okay, we hope you guys had a great Christmas vacation, and we are going to do a little bit of a recap of 2019. We had a good year here at Firepunk, and we're going to kind of make a video going over the highlights and some of the events that happened through 2019. It happened so fast, it's really easy to forget what all happened in one short year. So we started off in the spring with the crazy idea of cutting the S10 in half and redoing the chassis, which we did, cut the thing in half, cut it 10 inches shorter. We also went to Detroit, went to the auto show, looked at the new 2019 Rams, got a first look at that, and that kind of, we knew we were coming out with a new ECM that we wanted to address with tuning platforms, and that was our first look at that. We also did a couple twin turbo, triple turbo setups for some customers. The winter times we often get some bigger builds. It's kind of fun to do those bigger projects during the winter months and the off season. We were also putting the S10 back together, trying to figure it all out because we wanted to make the Florida race, which was what I think end of February. That's when we made our first passes with the new setup. We tried two different turbos down there, ran through a couple issues, ended up winning the Florida race. But I think we broke the intermediate for the first time. That was one of 5 times that we broke the transmission this year. With the added horsepower and the better chassis, we were able to apply a lot more horsepower. So we worked through some issues with the transmission and finally got that where we feel like the last half of the season we didn't touch the trans and it's been doing great again. So moving forward, we had Charity Case. Cody kind of took the reins on that. It had the 12 valve with the triple turbo on it, put it on the dyno, and we twisted up the drive shaft, which broke the transmission in half, broke all kinds of parts in the drivetrain. Had to rework all of that. It also had some suspension issues that we had to work through all year, and it broke a lot. It was a good time. But going on, we also sold my 2016 in February to Sonex. They bought it just for 68 RFE development. So we're now getting some beta parts coming back from the results from them getting a truck that's got tuning on it, and it has the Sonex drum in it. And in the 3/4 shift, occasionally we heard a noise, and that's the main reason they bought it, because they wanted to fix that. So hopefully in 2020 we'll be getting some new parts on the market with the Sonex drums that are going to make that noise go away completely and still have better performance. So we're trying to make 68s better day in, day out. That's stuff that happens behind the scenes that we don't really hear about on a daily basis. We also did a TV segment this spring with Hot Shot Secrets. That was on Performance TV. That was kind of a fun thing to do. And we bought a new dyno because we broke the shaft on ours and we needed one in a hurry. We had about a month's worth of dyno schedules booked out, and we couldn't get a roller for like 3 weeks. So I drove out to Johnny Gilbert Stainless Diesel and bought his Daytona model of the Dynocom. It was a Dyno Tech by Dynodynamics. Pretty much the same dyno we had before, it's just a bigger frame. That's worked out good. We had over 200 trucks on the dyno this year. Larson spends a lot of time on the dyno, dialing in customers' trucks on their builds, and also anytime that we install turbos and injectors and stuff in-house, we'll just put it back on the dyno, run it on the dyno at full power, full load, before we turn it loose to the customer. It gives us peace of mind knowing that we did our job right and the customer got what they were paying for. This spring, I think it was April, we moved into starting some projects on these on the Fords. We did the Nate Baylor's at Unlimited Diesel did his Lightning, that little shorty truck. I don't know if you remember watching that video. That was a big fabrication project, doing a front half and a back half, going from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, and also back halving Stuart Ingram's F350 with an 850 cage. That was a pretty slick Cummins power truck that we did with triple turbos. A lot of incredible work that went into that truck. May brought us UCC. We had just got back from Rudy's where we had set a record going 427 with the S10. We were extremely happy to, like, second race out, go 427, and then go to UCC shortly after and go 425, which is a new world record. And we were thinking we were progressing fast, and we were hoping to end up at like low 4s by the end of the season. But with that, we started breaking transmissions, and that kind of set us back through the whole summer. Moving away from the Ultimate Callout Challenge, we bought the 2019, started development on that, put on the dyno, did 392 horsepower to the tire on fuel right out of the box. We sprayed it with less than 500 miles on it, and it did like 507 horsepower. That was a little crazy and dumb, but it's still alive. It's got 16,000 miles on it now. No LFX. Josh also started in May, so he moved in from Virginia, which brought the Pro Street truck back to Firepunk, which I had sold it to him this winter. June was a lot of work leading up to it because we had the Outlaw Diesel Revenge event hosted by Firepunk. That's an ODSS event. We're gonna host it again in 2020. We'd love to see you guys there. It's like the first weekend in June 5th and 6th, I believe. So grab your friends and grab your buddy, plan a trip to Ohio. It's a good time because it's a lot of racing. The fastest trucks in the industry are there, and I don't think you're gonna regret showing up and watching some awesome racing. July brought us Plain City truck pulls. We did the street class. That was a ton of fun. We had a bunch of people come in with full weight street trucks, full interior, nothing fancy. It's trucks they drive every day. We had no rules. You could run nitrous, twin turbos, triple turbos. Didn't matter on horsepower, just had to be a real street truck. That was a lot of fun. And I pulled the quad cab in that. Landon, Larson, all us guys pulled in it. And it's hard on trucks, but it's a good time. So if you are looking for something to do this summer on a street class, let me know. Think of it July, I think Plain City pulls. We'll probably do the same thing again. That's going to be a good time. We also went to Rocky Top. That's end of July. That's around my birthday weekend. And we had a little bit more transmission carnage at Rocky Top. The truck was running really good. And I can't remember how far we made it in points with Rocky Top, but kind of throughout the summer, we had enough problems mid-season that we ended up like 3rd position in points. So the last half of the season, we had to focus on slowing down and winning the race as opposed to turning it up and setting records. So we did end up winning the championship in Pro Mod. So we were pretty happy about that. In 2019, that was one of our goals that we accomplished. Shide was an event that we won Pro Mod with. In September, we did a no prep race with Bill Lutz here in Killcare. That was a ton of fun. That's something that we hadn't done before with the S10 was no prep race, and we were actually fortunate to make it to the finals. And I don't know, there's something about taking a diesel to a no prep race and in a field with a bunch of blown Hemis or twin turbo Proline engines and being able to make the finals. We did lose in the finals, put a little bit too much in it and had to lift. But it was a lot of fun. We plan on doing a little bit more of that in 2020 as well. And then after that, we went to Florida for the ODSS race that Hardway puts on. That was a race that we won with Pro Mod as well. That was a fun time. Charity Case breathed its last breath there because it broke the rear end for the 2nd time. And that's the time we said we're going to put this thing in the trailer and fix it once and for all. And those plans are kind of changing at this point because we're going to focus a little bit more on Pro Mod next year and probably have to put Charity Case project on hold just because by the time we buy a 9-inch rear end and do a back half and short bed and bedsides and fiberglass, it's going to be expensive. So if you have somebody that would be interested in a nice project, we have a great idea of what we want to do with it, but it's probably going to just hang out in our parking lot for at least a year till we can afford to do something with it, unless somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to build a pretty sweet little 2nd gen, and I'll have a perfect platform for it because we'll bring it in here and back half it, put a 9-inch in it, and sell you a turnkey race truck if anybody's interested in turning Charity Case into a race truck of your dreams. So there you go. Going into the fall was Rudy's fall race. That was the ODSS season finale. That one we did well. That was in the finals. We lost a very close race to the PPI's new C8 or C7 Corvette. That was like a 4.40 to a 4.39 side by side. It's the fastest diesel Pro Mod race that anybody's ever seen. Very exciting. So it makes it a lot of things to look forward to for 2020 because I believe there's 2 other Pro Mod cars that are going to be at the level of the newer chassis, is very lightweight, that's coming out for next year, and we're looking forward to being able to compete with them because it's going to be a bloodbath in Pro Mod. We're looking forward to it. So if you can make it out to any of the ODSS races, show up and come by and say hi. I think it's going to be fun for you guys to watch that battle go down. We moved on from Rudy's. We did punch the points championship. We went on to King of the Street challenge. That was a challenge that I drove a truck for Jersey. which is out of New Jersey, obviously. But we had a ton of fun there. We were able to win that challenge. That is a grueling challenge for street trucks. You have to do a 100-mile street drive, and you can have as much horsepower as you want. So that was a good thing we did in November. We had our first dyno session with the Executioner. We did first fire, got it running in Drew's shop. Everything seemed good. Went to the dyno, made about 14 passes on it, and broke a rocker bridge. So we had to kind of regroup, went to PRI. After PRI, went back to the dyno with new rocker bridges, and it met all our expectations. We finished the last day at 3,214 horsepower. So really excited about getting this all-billet aluminum engine and getting it in the S10. It's going to be about 200 pounds lighter than what we were running last year, and we have about 500 horsepower more on tap that we actually dynoed. I think we'll be able to make more power than the 3,200, judging by we have about 20% more fuel quantity and nitrous we can add. So as long as horsepower still keeps increasing, if we need to, and the transmission holds up, hopefully we'll be able to set the world on fire next year and do some good in Pro Mod. So that's kind of a short recap of 2019, and we're looking forward to 2020. So if you guys have any more feedback on our YouTube channel, if you got videos that you want us to make or comparisons you want us to do, comment in the section below. Remember, like and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to grow this to where we want the diesel industry to grow. That's what we're here about. Everybody here loves diesels, and we love doing what we do, but hopefully you guys as fans can build your truck and end up competing with us. We'd love to help you reach your goals as well. So Happy New Year to you guys. I hope you guys all have a great New Year's, and we'll see you guys in 2020.